last time we talked about animations, and the last piece talked about is playing music, playing sound, some sort. Now here's a website, wavecentral.com, and probably the best place to go to get free music clips or whatever you're trying to find. Let's see down here, Jurassic Park. Let me see what that. Did I share my sound? Yes. Okay. So once you do that, you can right click on it and say Save Audio As. And of course, obviously, those are copyrighted items. So if you're developing a game to sell, you wouldn't want to use those. See these commercials, so forth. Wonder about Creative Commons open source type of. Audio content. So it looks like if you're trying to find some music, you can play it, put it in a game you're developing. If you're going to sell it, you can go out here and get some of this royalty free. Um, Lots of different sites for it. Looks like you may have to have a subscription to that one. Create a free account. I'm not going to create one. But anyway, there's other options available. There's also this package called Audacity. You click here. It's a little bit tricky to download. Yeah, it is. If I, oh, did you? Yeah. Yeah, choose download, choose Windows. You can then click this installer here, Audacity 2.3.2 installer. It pops up like the downloads right here, but it's not. If you scroll down, here's the actual installer for the program. So let's say it's a little bit tricky. You get to this download page, you see this download, and you download that, but I won't give you the program. Now, I don't know very much about Audacity. If you've used Audacity before, you probably know more about it than I do. But if I bring up Audacity, lot you can do with this package. A lot of modification on the voices and so forth, on music, the waves, so forth. All I really ever do with this is create an audio. Like if I click this red button here, ruff, ruff, and I click this square to stop it, then you can create a dog sound. You can probably create a good one, not what I created. Like I said, there's lots you can do with this at this point. That's beyond what I want to show you. But if you do a file, you see there's an export. And you export as a WAV or an MP3 file. Used to be there had to be a special way that you had to export for MP3, but they've changed it. Used to be you had to put a certain library in a folder, and it's just kind of a pain, at least for the first install. Give it some kind of name. It's MP3. Click Save, and I'll click OK through that. And now over here, I got a dog barking. If I double click that, that gives you your sound. Does that make sense how to create a sound effect? Okay. Now go ahead and create a new project in Unity 2D. I'll give you a few minutes to do that if you're following along. Okay, so once this is up, you're going to right click and choose Import New Asset. And I downloaded some files here, created some. You probably don't have the same ones as me. That's almost a sure bet. So I got those, I import them in. Now, if I take the dog barking here and drag it up here, it drops it into my my hierarchy over here. Here's some different items about the audio source. Specifically, there's a play on awake. And you see volume, pitch, priority, stereo pan, spatial, blend, reverb, zone mix. If I run this, after I've clicked loop, it'll keep barking over and over. So you can just as simple as just dropping it onto your form and you can have your music playing. So if I had some April showers. Okay, that might be good. Okay, so come over here, right click, and choose import new asset. Delete dog barking. Drop April showers up here. And then play loop. The volume I probably don't want as high as it is. So I'm going to take that down a little bit. Well, I didn't seem to take it down very much. Take it down there. I'm just wanting to barely hear it. It's still 0.01. Yeah, that's what I was wanting. So you have something playing in the background. Does that make sense how to do sound just from a overall game standpoint? Okay. Now I got some videos that explore this in more depth. Because you can program it based upon events, like collisions happening. Collision is probably the main thing I'm thinking of. Maybe when you enter a level. I don't got these in the right order. Do tile maps at the end. Okay, so here's just a general video on how to play sounds in Unity. Okay, so instead of just dropping up here, you create an empty, and it's gonna drop it on here. And I guess I go ahead and rename that called soundtrack. What I'm talking about there is the asset store. You come over here. Night sound. No results for night sound. Here's the audio. Pricing free. So here's different ones you can download for free. The Night Sky, that was what he was doing. You click that. Click download. Uh-oh. Let's see if I remember my password. Oh well. I got my own sound anyway. But if you sign in, then you can download these for free. And these are ones that you can put in your game. So they're not copyrighted or anything. I'll click scene to go back here. He's talking that after he created the empty, then he went and click delete April showers there. So you got your empty, and you drop your April showers on that. And he's talking about the 3D sound settings now. And just to play that. Yeah, that playing background again. If you don't loop it, then you do that. Okay. So what he's talking about there is I'm going to right click on here, choose import new asset, then bring in the Pink Panther. So I got the Pink Panther here, and I want to click add component script. Pink click. Double click that. Now, you talk about changing the name of that, but if you do it on, these are all things you can program. And you see there's on mouse down, drag, enter, exit, on mouse over. This is if your mouse appears over it. Or, I mean, yeah, your mouse appears over the object. They had us do on mouse down, I believe. You don't have to rename start or anything. That's, if you want to leave them there, you can. And get component. Okay. Get component. Audio source dot play. Save that. So now if we come over here, run our game. Well, put a sound on there. Oh, I didn't put a sound on there. Helps to actually do that. Let me drop this Jurassic Park one on there. And now to have an audio source. Of course, I shouldn't have it play on awake. Now we have our background music there. And if I click on Pink Panther, ah, unless I'm forgetting something. Play. Let's see what he does. On mouse down. Is that what I programmed? Yeah, on mouse down. Mesh collider. Let's see. Okay, now I'm not seeing what I missed. Mixed material mesh audio source. We're trying to put it on a. Yeah, you had a mesh collider. Audio source. Didn't have those marked. Let me see. Huh. Well, anyway, this is where I wanted to show it anyway, but I'm not sure why that mouse down didn't work the same as his. But this would be where you have your on collision. This might be in a game where a bullet's colliding with something, and you're checking to see what collided with what, and then you play the sound source like that. Is there any questions on that part? Of course, in your game, you don't want to sit there and just play it on collision in or too deep, because then whenever it collides with anything, the wall or whatever, it'd play that. You may want to do it if it collides with a ghost. Um, might be the only time you'd actually do that. Now, I'm trying to remember. There is a way to play to get the name. A1. An object of type. Let's see. Unity 2D finding audio source. may have to play that. I may have to play that and see how to do it. Because the question becomes, the reason why it's finding audio source is because this is audio source. Maybe it won't let me drop another one on there. No, doesn't look like I drop another one on there. Okay, so I guess you just play the current audio source. Now I'm not going to go through the videos because I want to get to tile mapping, but I put videos out there. Get back to Blackboard. That was just a very simplistic demonstration how to play with sound. Here's the audio manager, and there's tons you can do with audio. So, if you want more options besides just playing one sound, then you get into manipulating with the audio manager. Anyway, that's what you need to know for the Pac-Man game. And now you have everything you need to finish up that Pac-Man game. So that'll be the project I'll assign out of this. I'll get into tile maps, but I won't actually assign anything off that. And go through, put all those different components in there that we've covered, the animation, your ghost moving, your Pac-Man, and so forth. And but anyway, that'll be the first major project. There'll be another one at the end that'll be the final project. Is there any questions on any of that? Now we looked at a very primitive way to create Pac-Man, where we added the different pieces with colliders, and then we had our background map that was just one image. Tile maps allows us to do something a little bit different. So let me come over here and get rid of my get rid of some of this. Let's see, get rid of the Pink Panther. Here's my soundtrack. Okay, I don't think I even need any of that anymore, but leave it there just in case. Let's see if we can find that. Leonard Pepin, opengameart.org. Hmm. Whispers of Avalon. Okay, that'll be enough to demonstrate what we're doing. Okay, so I'm gonna save that image. Beach sand. There we go. Looks like the biggest one. Tells us 32 by 32, 5 frames. He's got his hierarchy or his assets over here, I should say. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this into Unity. Um, so right click on that, choose import new asset. Yeah, I thought I saved it here, but I'm not sure if I see it. Okay, let me try it again. File, save images. Beach sand. Pictures. Beach sand. Oh, right in front of me. Okay. Then choose import. Now, tile maps are based upon the sprite sheets concept that we talked about. So we're going to see what he does next with slicing it up. Okay, so this is already set to sprite 2D. He set changes to multiple. The pixels per unit, 32. He's also going to have some down here. Big compression is none, and point no filter for the filter mode. So click apply. Then he's talking about we can open up the sprite editor. Okay, so slice by cell size, and there are 32 by 32 squares. And click slice. And you can see each one of these is a little square. So again, we click apply. And close that. Then if I expand this, you see all the different tiles available. Okay, so I'll come over here, right click in this gray area, and got 2D object, tile map. So he's talking about the grid. And notice over here in the scene, we have these grids. So if I delete the grid, that's what it looks like without them. And right click and choose that. And I click tile map here and see they're all there. So we brought in our sprite sheet, we've cut it up into the individual tiles, and now we're laying a grid down so we're going to be laying these tiles on there. I'll follow the guide here. I'll rename that. What's her name? Tile map base. Um, Tile palette. And again, this is something that if you're going to work a lot with tiles, you want to go ahead and leave it available. So I can click and drag this and put it right next to the animator here, and then that's available. Probably you don't want it a separate window from the scene, so you can even drag it and drop it over like here. So you got pretty flexible what it'll let you do. You want to put it down here, then that's fine. Oops. Okay, so he has it over here like that. Okay, create new palette, the button there. And what in the world do you call it again? Called the piles or the palette. You left all those blank. Great. Now you don't have to do that. That's more of just for organization standpoint. So here, if you right click in this area, you can choose new. Try it again. New folder. Tiles, what he called it. No memory. That's weird. You can't rename it there. Oh well, it doesn't matter. And he did it wrong to begin with. He selected each one of these, and Okay, so over here, if I can expand this and drag whatever I want on there, or if I just drag that on there, then he says to create a new folder, right click, new folder called tiles. Go into that. You could create another subfolder if you wanted, or just I'll just put select folder there. Hmm. Try to make more room, but it won't let me bring that down for some reason. Let me make it bigger, but won't let me make it smaller. See, this is what he's talking about. When he brings them in one at a time, it misaligns them, and so then he has to rearrange. But if you choose the top tile here and bring it in, then it doesn't misalign them. What he's talking about is over here in our assets, we got our tiles folder recreated, and these are all our tiles. And you can come over here, you can change it to a different picture. So you got your sprite editor. Oops, tiles. Or change color, so forth. You notice there's a collider type here too, which we'll talk about later. Okay. So he's saying that we got this imported in now. We create our grid. We do our paint. Choose whichever one. Come over here and drag and drop it. Is that good so far? Correct. And there's one external editor, tile map editor, that we might take a look at. I haven't tested it in 2019 to see if it works. That adds even more, gives you more power than what you see as default in Unity. So he's going to file or project. Let's see. Back up. Edit project settings. Okay. It's a little bit different than his version. Assuming I'm going the right place. Project settings, quality. There's quality. And okay, it's already disabled. Okay, so that's what it looks like on our game. Now I noticed that there's some over here that isn't in our game view, right? If you think about a scroller of some sort, it's been a long time since I played Zelda, but Zelda scrolls like that, doesn't it? You go up, down, left, right, type of deal, and it goes. There's still part of the map over there. If you play Super Mario Brothers and you go to the right, well, it just changes your view. It's one big mapping across. If you played like a icebreaker, um, if I remember in our game correctly, you have to keep jumping up on the ice, and it keeps scrolling. And if you jump off or you miss where you're jumping to, if there's something underneath, it'll catch you. But since it keeps scrolling, you have the potential to fall off and die. So lots of variations of that. And we're gonna be doing a lot more with Tom apps, but than just this is just the creation part. Um, I don't see it as default. They keep evolving this. And this video isn't the newest video, but that's why I was just wondering if they've already added it in. Some of these add-ins that you see in here, they become so popular that they make it part of the project. It's a part of the Unity program at that point. Okay, but that's how you do tiles. We're gonna see there's more to it than that though. So we'll talk about collisions and how do you maneuver around them and so forth. Was there any questions on just the basic create a tile map? Well, we'll go ahead and stop there then.